and Mary appear calling until all are one. Life as a shadow was a curious thing. Your entire being was a reflection of another person's most repressed emotions. In many cases, such repression would yield to aggression, impulsiveness, unyielding sorrow, and general extremes. Akechi's shadow had not met the shadows of Yosuke Hanamura, Chie Satonaka, or Yukio Amaki. The other shadows in this world were mere monsters, driven by base instincts. Such trite company left much to be desired. So naturally, he did the only thing any rational person would do, and made his way out into the little hub where Teddy resided. There, he leaned against one of the ladders, legs and arms crossed in a pose he was certain was cool. Then, with a soft little frown, he gazed at the sleek bear across from him. "It's been a few days. Are you doing all right, Teddy-kun?" Teddy stared at his own reflection on the exit screen, hands clasped behind his back. "I'm used to being alone, but I guess I'm not anymore, huh?" He turned to face the shadow, watching him closely. "It's weird. Most shadows don't come out to talk to me." The shadow shrugged, nonchalant as ever. "I have to keep busy somehow. Goro could be stubborn. Invasive, too. I can feel the walls around him crumbling bit by bit. But it's not as though I can exit the world and demand he accept me now. I don't want to push him so hard till he declares I'm not him. I'd rather not lose control of myself." Teddy's eyes blinked wide open, as if a light bulb lit above his head. Then he drooped, a wobbly frown taking form. "Gosh, that must be terrifying." "Well, no point sugarcoating it." The shadow simply nodded. "The other shadows are more hostile and eager to prove they are better. But Goro accepts his competitive side, so I suppose that leaves me with his moments of fleeting humility. We're both intelligent, of course, so I can see clearly that force will only drive him into a corner." He pushed away from the ladder, circling around the platform. "It's interesting. By all accounts, I'm not my own person. And yet here I am, speaking and acting as if I am. I can see why the other shadows wish to break free and become their own beings. Yet it's such a suicidal wish, given how tethered we are to our human selves." You know, it's interesting, the way that this is taking a look at shadows. I mean, shadows are, in the persona world, your repressed emotions, the side that you keep hidden to yourself, the things you don't want to admit. You know, like Kanji and his girly side, or Naruto trying to embrace her femininity, or TA, saying that, she wants to be only number one. That kind of thing. Part of accepting your persona is learning to accept those faults of yourself. Well, in the Persona 4 world. Persona 5 is all about breaking free of the strengths that confine you and rebel against the people that hold you back, but that's another story. So the question becomes, what about some of the other emotions that we do keep to ourselves? Like the people who don't want to admit that they are kind, or people who don't want to admit that they want to bond or have a friend. How does that work on your shadow? What does that do to your inner self? You see, it's psychological questions like this that make me love Persona. "At least you know what you are. I can't even figure out." Teddy tapped his fingers together, looking down at his feet. "Couldn't you define yourself?" "Huh? What do you mean?" "I'm the shadow of Goro Akechi, which means that I am Goro Akechi. The me you see now isn't a separate individual. I only exist separately from him because of this world, and in the end, I will return to him. I've accepted that. Desire it, even." He stopped pacing, turning to face directly. "You aren't Shadow Teddy. You are Teddy. Perhaps you don't know what that means, but you have a gift of individuality that we shadows simply lack. While many shamble mindlessly, you have a mind. Isn't that in itself a gift?" I guess so." Teddy folded his arms, face scrunchy as he mulled this over. "But I'm still empty inside, and I can't go visit Sensei and the others." "True. In the end, your self-actualization falls to you. You'll have to find yourself, figure out who you want to be. But you have the luxury I do not, one that no shadow could ever hope to achieve. Embrace it, Titty-kun, and I think you'll find happiness one day. Oh, to being a being of repressed kindness, to yearn more than anything, to give others the same capacity he craved with every fiber of his existence. Teddy giggled, as if reading his mind. Wow! If Aki-chan's got someone that nice buried inside of him, then I'm one lucky bear! He paused. Hey, wait. If you call him Goro, then does that mean I should call him Go-chan instead? The shadow winced, overwhelmed with a sharp, visceral feeling in his chest. Probably not the wisest idea. Mama called us that before she passed on. Oh. The way Teddy deflated, tripping over again and clearly crushed. It was like a fist wrapped around the shadow's heart, squeezing it tight. But he was merely a shadow, an incomplete being. Interesting that. The way Goro deeply cared for others, yet denied it all the same. It's not your fault, the shadow said. It happened a long time ago, but Goro is difficult when it comes to others. I think simply call him Akechi, or I suppose using Aki-chan is safest for now, as he tends to find people using his first name uncomfortable, unless he truly uses them. Can I call you Goro? If you want. I am the side of him that's less distant, so that form of validation pleases me. Praise, attention, acknowledgement. Even now there's this clawing, itchy feeling inside of me. I want him to hurry up. I want him to see me. His fingers curled tightly around the front of his suit, tugging at the fabric. It took Teddy a few seconds to muster up a reply. But what if he doesn't? Will you go berserk like the other shadows? The thought alone made Shadow shudder. To lose control, to become a monster. It was also terrifying was indeed an apt way to put it. It would be so much easier if you could be Koro's persona. A persona didn't have to worry about losing control. Personas were meant to embody their user's strength and convictions. Why couldn't Goro see what he did? That he wasn't lonely anymore. And all around him were people who loved him, cherished him, wanted him in their lives. Without accepting such feelings, he would certainly get himself killed. Certainly he knew that as well. Gulping, the shadow forced himself to take a deep breath, then let it out. This was not a time for an existential dilemma. If it comes to it, I truly hope the others will save him so he finally gets a clue. As morning washed over the Dojima household, Akechi rose with a quiet yawn and a stretch. It was as if a tremendous weight had been lifted since the night before. Perhaps the emotional catharsis with Nanako had helped more than he anticipated. Nanako. He needed to see her. So he hastily crept downstairs. By the time he reached the bottom step, he found her cheerily watching cartoons. It was only when he touched the living room floor that she peeked up at him from across the room and giggled. Reflexively, Akechi reached up to touch his hair and... of course. Not the most glamorous way to greet his... sister? Right. She was his sister now. While he hastily smoothed his hair down, Nanako simply beamed. Morning, girl! Good morning, Nanako-chan. Getting called his given name would take some getting used to, but it was nice hearing it from her. It was different from all the condescending adults he had encountered over the years who uttered the name so patronizingly, dripping with artificial sugar. That she was in such high spirits certainly didn't hurt. After he held her through her tears, I'm going to get cleaned up, all right? Then we can discuss our plans once Narukami-san gets out of bed. Oh, Akechi, she wasn't talking to you. She was talking to the forearm guy over there. Oh! So spirited, so excited. There's a certain musicality to her voice. Those ears work really hard, and I don't want to feel like he has to do everything. Why not? He spoils us plenty. I think he appreciates it. It was funny how naturally the words came, but setting aside the nagging on knees, there was no denying that you spoiled them. But for now, Akechi set such thoughts aside, slipping into the shower and letting the warm water and rising steam soothe him. Regardless of what happened, it was sure to be an interesting day. He promised Nanako a family outing. That meant acting as a family, and not two unruly roommates who heckled each other constantly. Could Akechi really truly tolerate you Murakami for that long? Well, they worked well enough making the bentos. As long as Nanako was there, it'd be fine. Well, his hair washed, combed, and dry, and he changed into a shirt, sweater vest, khakis, and stretched one more time for good measure. By the time he exited the bathroom, Nanako was already dishing out the eggs and toast, while Hugh watched her from the couch with remote in hand. "Ah, Nanako," he said with a smile. "You sure you don't want me to make a side dish?" She turned to him and huffed. "You mean I want this? So now it's my turn to treat you." "You heard her, Narukami-san." Akechi rested one hand on his hip, smirking. "Your princess demands you let her spoil you today." Just to be extra showy, he strutted over to the table, scooped up her origami crown, and placed it on her head. This was adorable. This, of course, earned some bubbly gigglies from the little chef. "Cairo!" "My lady." Akechi bowed. Was this perhaps a silly thing he had done in a long time? Was it a bit embarrassing? Oh, absolutely. But after last night, Nanako deserved every shred of happiness he could provide. Unsurprisingly, this earned a raised eyebrow from you. She's calling you by your first name now? It'd be strange if she called her brother by his surname, wouldn't it? Akechi could only smirk and only testify, but rather than gawk or scare, Hugh chuckled in turn. Well, dang, that's a pretty big step for you. He settled on a nature channel, currently showing some exceedingly round baby seals, including a praying mantis taking out a hummingbird. No, that should be scary. Akechi tensed for a moment, but only for a moment. Stupid Narukami, making him feel so obnoxiously self-conscious. He looked down at Nanako, whose enormous grin was enough to ease his nerves. She's worth it. With that said, he walked over to grab his plate off the kitchen table. Now then, shall we eat? Ikimasu! Nanako bounced as he fed hers and used plates, and joined him at the living room table. And so, an ordinary breakfast followed, with Nanako's jovial enthusiasm shining through any preferable rain clouds. After finishing his toast, he blotted his face with a napkin and said, "So, we might have to stick to town. It's probably too short notice to get tickets to Okinawa City. Plus, it's probably packed." Akechi nodded. "Smart thinking, Narukami-san. I suspect Nanako-chan has an alternative in mind." She opened her mouth to speak when the doorbell suddenly rang out. "Oh, I'm in the She scurried to the door with you close behind her. Upon sliding the door open, Chie greeted her. "Morning, Nanako-chan!" "I'm Chie." "Hey!" You remained as relaxed as ever, no doubt smiling at his friend. "What's up?" "Oh, not much. I just noticed Doji-Masa's car wasn't here. Is everything okay?" "Yeah, about that." You cast a hesitant glance at Nanako. "It's okay." She spoke without a trace of sadness in her voice. "Dad had to cancel because of work." "Oh, really? I'm sorry, Nanako-chan." Chie's front short-lived, so her voice resumed its usual pep. "Hey, you want to hang out with us today? Yukio and Yosuke will be here too." Nanako glanced towards the table. Well, we were supposed to." "Do you want to?" Akechi asked, far less reluctant than he expected. It wasn't the worst thing to meet with others, he supposed. Nanako already enjoyed Chie's company, and you do realize it'd be easier if you stopped pretending you didn't want to spend time with them. Akechi looked away, grimacing. He really needed to stop letting that godforsaken shadow haunt his thoughts. Tilling his gaze back on his sister, Akechi shrugged. "That depends if it's an open invitation." "Well, duh," Chie said without missing a beat. "We won't leave you behind." Nanako looked up at you with great intensity. "We can, but, you appeared at the fridge. I only kind of made lunches for the three of us." "Psst, like that's a problem." Chie grinned. "I was just gonna grab some food at Yuna's anyway." "Yuna's?" Ah, that was the magic word. The ticket to Nanako's heart. She typed it uselessly. As he rose from the table, bringing his plate to the kitchen to rinse. "Kind of figured you want to go there anyway. I suppose it all works out." "Well, there you have it," you said. "Just give us a second to get ready. You can sit down if you want." "Don't mind if I do." T.A. strode over to the table, claiming a seat with a dramatic flop. She watched closely as you pulled your bentos out of the fridge. "Well, I guess you would leave that to them just long enough to flip upstairs and fetch a bag which to carry their lunches." On the way downstairs, he overheard the others talking. So, you feeling okay? Asked Chie. I'm better now. The scar took care of me, and you may use lunches. With my assistance. Akechi added, bringing the bag over to you. He's my little Kohai. You cupped his hand over his chest, sniffing an obvious streak mare. Just think, one day he'll be making meals all by himself. It took tremendous willpower for Akechi to not A. immediately snarl at you for potentially embarrassing remark, B. remain his perfect smile in an act of brilliant defiance, and C. not to bite back with a quip of his own. He would demonstrate his maturity with a simple, anyway, let's not digress, feet. We promised Nanako-chan the ultimate Golden Week experience, and I'd rather not waste a single moment. So in a flash, they reached the Junes food court, taking a seat at the dinner table. To make room for everyone, they all sat to seats additional chairs from the adjacent tables, and even Nanako pushed one of the chairs alongside Akechi's assistants that she didn't have to. At least Yosuke permitted their grand chair theft, because even with the altered arrangements, everyone had to squeeze together. And so, Akechi sat to Nanako's left, you to her right, while Tie squeezed in next to Akechi, Yosuke beside you, and Yukio next to Chie. And judging by the apron and name tag still attached to it, Yosuke was still technically on shift. Arms crossed, Yosuke went almost a pity and looked at Nanako. Why did you bring poor Nanako-chan to a place like this on Golden Week? Yukio frowned. Yeah, I feel kind of bad for her. If you have to ask, then you clearly don't know my sister. Akechi placed an almost threatening emphasis on the word, which left Yosuke staring and slack-jawed. And Nanako pouted at him, taking the wind from his sails. Going to be nice. It's not his fault. Not the intended result, but Akechi was in no position to protest. She smiled at Yosuke and said, But I love genius. No kidding. Oh, that buggy look though was hilarious. Even Akechi was suppressed a snicker. Everything's great in your genius. A little song made Yosuke's entire face light up in the goofiest smile. He folded his hands over the table. Dude, how come you never told me your cousin's so cute? It should have been obvious the first time we met, Akechi said with a smirk. Yeah, well, but you were with Kanji and he was kinda, Akechi leaned over the table, softening a smirk into that perfectly pleasant smile, helping me procure proper clothing after escaping a traumatic living situation. Yukio snorted, then clasped a hand over her mouth, perhaps in a feeble attempt to muffle her soothing laughter. Are are you still scared of Kanji-kun? Yosuke whined. I mean, have you seen that guy? Yu shook his head, pulling out the bento boxes and passing them to Akechi and Nanako. Sorry I didn't bring more. This whole thing was kind of last minute. Well, don't worry about it, said Yukio. Were you supposed to go on a family trip? There was an unexpected emergency, Akechi said, placing a hand on Nanako's shoulder. It was disappointing, but we're adaptable. You're one lucky kid, Nanako-chan. CA flashed her the world's goofiest grin. You got two big bros looking out for you. Akechi then averted his eyes for a moment to hide a shortless scowl. Two brothers? He was the one who offered to be Nanako's sibling. Narukami was her cousin. But Nanako, precious girl that she was, looked between the two of them, and already Akechi could guess what she said. Two big bros. Was he seriously considering it? Akechi's fingers wrapped as tightly around his unopened chopsticks as he waited for an inevitable answer. But he's bigger, so wouldn't you be big bro and Carl be little bro? Lit- Little bro? Akechi's lips bent to pins an uncomfortable observation of a smile. Nanako-chan, I'm older than you. I can't be your little brother. You just call him bro, Yosuke said, winking. And was he seriously doing finger guns? Like, sup, bro? Ugh, I just had to make it worse. Please don't patronize me, Hanamoto-san. What? It's better than little bro, right? Yes. Kenji growled that single, aggravating word through his teeth. This, it seemed, broke them down to help back Yukio's laughter. Fantastic. It's okay, Kenji-kun. I think bro suits you. Yosuke, seemingly picking up on Akechi's frustration, cut in again. But damn, partner, you made these? I mean, you do seem really good with your hands, but... He was doing just fine until he made an innuendo. Then you just had to lean into it, folding his hands and saying, Is there something you'd like to say? He fluttered his eyeglasses in a way that was blatantly flirtatious. flirting with Yosuke Hanamura of all people. Were the standards really that low? On the positive side, the way Yosuke's face burned red, a couple of his bulging eyes suddenly gave a treat. He was still backwards, knocking his chair over. Dude, come on! You're gonna give them the wrong idea. Too late. Add a cherry on top. Not a good idea with cherry. He sure can. You smirked. Oh, that devious tight-lipped smirk. Before, it was just Yukio laughing. Now, Yukio and Chie both howled with laughter. Chie slapped the table and said, Holy shit, what are you even telling her? Yosuke says, cheer up, to try to scowl. It was really more of a pout. Hey, watch it! Nanako-chan's a little kid! Love knows many forms. Yu's voice lifted in an almost familiar monotone. Man, woman, all that matters is what's in your heart. Nope! I'm not hearing this! Yosuke smacked his hands over his ears. All the while, Tia and Yukio both bit their lips. Nevertheless, some snickering and snoring still slipped out, though inevitably, Yukio's laughter burst forth yet again. Thankfully, Peralta's laughing fit concealed Akechi's own chuckles as he took a piece of the grilled fish with his chopsticks. Perhaps you'd like to serve the others some food and beverages. Perhaps get some ice to calm yourself. We do have a child present. Yep, I'm out of here! Yosuke spun around towards the food stalls. They took off like a rocket. Pleased with himself, Akechi leaned back in his chair and loosely folded his arms. Chie, meanwhile, grasped for breath between snickers. That was... So you finally steadied yourself. Then frowned as you watched Yosuke order the lunches. Actually, do you think we overdid it? He did seem to take it rather personally, Yukio said. Nanako jerked over her bento, poking some fences with her chopsticks. Yes, but not every boy is comfortable with doing so with other boys. Ketsu said. For some reason, it kind of stung. Let's not to think about it. Personally, I don't think it should matter. Narukami-san is clearly a bisexual disaster, so I imagine he agrees. Nanako tilted her head, while her lips tucked to the side. You grunted, then choking on his food. Not exactly, Nanako, but yeah, I'm bi. Both Yukio and Tie's eyes flew wide open. If there was a cartoon, no doubt their jaws would have crashed to the floor. For real? Tie squawked. Yukio gave a calmer, oh, I have no idea. Despite their blatant stupor, Yu shrugged it off. It's never been a big deal to me. Besides, Yukio called Tie her prince, so I can't be the only one. The subtle perk of his lips, the mischievous glint in Yu's eyes. 3, 2, 1. Just like that, both girls' faces burned bright red. Can we please not talk about that? Yukio squeaked. Wait, are we doing some TA, Yukio? Is that her coming true? Nanako, ever unaware, gazed at TA as if she quite clearly sparkled. Girls can be princess too. Let's just, TA gazed across the food court and shouted, Hey, Yosuke, get your butt over here! Oh, are you feeling a little flustered now? Yosuke confronts with a smirk. Someone managing to balance the grilled steak table trays with one hand while carrying some drink up in one arm and on his torso. Not so fun when the tables turn, huh? Akechi rolled his eyes before taking another bite. I'm starting to think there isn't a single straight person in this friend group. Just when TA started slurping her drink, her soda abruptly squirted out of her nose. Everyone at the table, barring you and Nanako, were now painted some shade of pink. Yosuke frantically framed his hands. Can we just stop it already? I'm totally straight. Total chick magnet. Don't get the wrong idea, Nanako-chan. I'm still cool. I mean, when Kaji and Nanato join... Let's make my bento? Nanako picked up one of the grilled fish pieces and offered it to him. You sure your big bro put a lot of time into making that? Finally, some appreciation. Yosuke said to the fish, humming with delight as he took the bite. Damn, that's some good stuff. Yeah, got the fish myself, you said, stylishly picking up his own little piece and dumping it into his mouth. Man, how do you even have the patience for that? There's something you must know about me, Yosuke. There he went with a glibbery monotone voice again. I am the master of Zen. Fishing brings me inner peace. So I become one with the river, waiting for, okay, okay, I get the picture. Yosuke slumped over a table. You win this round, partner. I mean, sheesh, you got some mad cooking skills. And you can fish? I can garden too. Okay, now you're just bragging. Humph. Nancy couldn't disagree. If anything, the fact that he could garden on top of everything else, at this rate, was there anything that Narukami couldn't do? I can cook too, TA said. Probably. Totally whipped up some lunches for the rest of us. Yeah, I'm not taking any chances, Yosuke said with a snicker. You don't strike me as the type who can handle more than a delicate task. You couldn't even handle my trial of the dragon without breaking it. Nanako's eyes darted between the two of them. Her bewilderment etched to her features. Man, you're still hung up on that? I said I'd buy you a new one. That's the principle of it. Right, like the principle of doing more than pounding the ingredients with your fists. Tia stood up, slapping her palms down on the table. Oh, that's it. You, me, cook off. I'll make something so good, Nanika will start asking me to make her bentos. Here's Kate leaning back, scoffing. Please, not that cocky, TA. There you said I could cook. Yeah, all the same, a little smirk spread across his lips. But I still could beat you. Oh, perhaps I should join too, Yukio said. Hell yeah! Yosuke pumped his fist in the air like an absolute dork he was. You look like you'd be an ace in the kitchen. Because she's a woman. Jesse asked, and the way Yosuke went said it all. Oh, well, it's more than the five. Yukio's responsible, and, he waved his hands awkwardly. You know what? Forget it. Between the three of us, I bet we'll make something that ranks out there with your months. Hanamura! Jesse snarled, gripping Nako's shoulder in support. Watch your tongue. Yosuke recoiled, rubbing the back of his head. Jeez, what did I even say? Nanako's answered before Akechi could get a word in. I don't care. I think I need an accident. Yosuke. TH voice led to his Yoso fire. Yukio turned her head downcast, avoiding Nanako's gaze, while Yu shut his eyes, sighing quietly. Seeing the message was clear, as Yosuke shrank back in his chair. Sorry, Nanako-chan. I should have soon. Yet despite everything, a warm smile spread Nanako's lips. It's okay. If your mom's gone, I still have family. It's my dad, and now, I can do this. But I was her brother first. Akechi smirked as he ruffled her hair, and I comforted her while she was crying last night. I know, it's not a contest. Well, that was a good sign all the same. I'm having lots of fun too. And now I'm making new friends. Friends already? Akechi sank into silence. She really did wear her heart on her sleeve. By all accounts, Akechi knew them better than Nanako did. He hesitated. He could just imagine his shadow looming behind him, daring to clamp a gloved hand over his shoulder. What's your excuse, Goro? What do you have to fear? The way he interacted was so strange. Butting heads, yet in that friendly, playful manner where nobody was truly hurt. They teased, they bickered, they just coexisted, despite differences in their lived experience and temperament. Is that really so different from Kanji? He's your best friend, isn't he? The others carried on with their conversation, simply unaware of the storm raging in Akechi's heart and mind. First, there was Yosuke, who said, Yeah, I'm totally down to being friends, Nanako-chan. Nikichie, of course, we're already training buddies. Anytime you want to play, just say the word. We really are a lively group, aren't we? Said Yukio. We should hang out more often. Akechi tried not to sigh, but failed. Chie must have noticed, as he looked at him and said, Hey, don't worry, you're part of this team too. Think it might take some time for him to accept that, said Yu. Damn it, why did Narukami have to be so good at reading people? Akechi could only force another smile into place. Let's just focus on Nanako, shall we? This is her day to shine. Right. Yosuke slid out of his chair, nudging against the table. How about some ice cream, Nanako-chan? See, you've finished most of her bento by now, so she looked to you and Akechi. Sure thing. You got up first, so naturally Akechi followed. He sent a pointed glance to Yosuke. If you're paying, gladly. Yeah, it's on the house. Yosuke jabbed you with his elbow. But you owe me one of those bentos, partner. Then you turned to Yosuke, clapping his hands together. Oh, Yosuke, I'll make an extra special one just for you. Man, why do you have to say it like that? Ketsi mustard is make a smirk. If you think that's bad, try living with him. Huh? You gotta deal with this every day? There are times I question if he has a serious bone in his body, to be honest. Nanako chimed in. But he might have a feeling. That's how he sells his gears. You got it. You reached down, patted her on the head. Damn it. Then, this is near the ice cream stall, TA called. Hey, wake up! Turning around, Yosuke deflated. Come on, I can't buy ice cream for all of you. It's not that, Yukio said. We just like to get something for Nanako-chan. Oh, I know, TA said, beaming. How about some takoyaki? Nanako's enthusiasm kept Kenzie from pointing out how they just had a rather full meal and were getting ice cream on top of that. Every glimmer of joy shone as bright as the sun, steadily wiping away the memories of her sobbing against his chest. It was for the best. She was happy, and she was making new friends and broadening their horizons. And Kenzie got to watch it all unfold in real time. And so, they ordered their soft serve cones, while Kenzie had to admit that this was a good solid start to Golden Week. Well then, he said, relaxing if only a little, perhaps we should find a souvenir to memorialize this day. The way Nanako's eyes lit up told him that even without words, this was the correct thing to say. Justice, rank 8. That night, you and Yosuke met in the North Shopping District, bathed in starlight. The two of them hovered by the vending machines. And poor Yosuke, no doubt exhausted from a bustling shift at Junes, slumped against one of the machines and moaned, Man, Golden Week's such a pain! You walked up to him, chuckling. It's just getting started. See, that's just it. I'm one day in and I'm already slumped. Hey, it wasn't all that bad. We had a pretty good time today. Yeah, you got me there. Yosuke ran a hand through his hair, brows knitting as he was contemplating something. Then he shook his head. Still, I can't get a read on Akechi. I think we're cool now, but half the time he's just so snarky. Didn't you know it? But Yosuke didn't spend as much time with Akechi, so it's probably tougher to see the cracks in his spiky shell. He's getting there. The fact that he lets Nanako call him Goro's already a huge step. And hey, he's bantered with you. Yeah, because you had to go and make things weird again. It gave you a light shove. Still kind of mad about that. Sorry, didn't realize it was such a sore spot. You looked the other way. The truth was, he was just messing around. Sure, Yosuke was an attractive guy, and yeah, they faced life or death and stakes a handful of times, but most of his teasing was just a way to lighten the mood. It just backfired sometimes. Still, Yosuke protested, as you expected him to. Hey, I never said it was a sore spot. Well, I've got to hide anyway. Like I said, I'm totally straight. The denial was kind of funny, honestly. Not a laugh out loud kind of way, but more, how to put this? You leaned against the neighboring vending machine, locking eyes with his friend. Yeah, well, if you weren't, it's not like a big deal. No playful monotone, just fluttering eyeglasses. This time you spoke from the heart. Maybe that's why Yosuke went quiet for a few seconds. Maybe that was why he tipped his head down, arms crossed tighter than usual. Heh, sure. Guys our age are supposed to be getting girlfriends. That's normal, right? You find a sweetheart, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But eventually you grow up, get married, maybe have some kids. Dude, we're 16. We got plenty of time to work that stuff out. Gazing up at the night sky, Yosuke heaved a quiet sigh. You know, I thought maybe I had something. It's my fault for getting my hopes up. I only saw what I wanted to see, and now Sagi-senpai's... You moved closer, gripping his shoulder. Take your time. You don't have to rebound. Man, nothing gets past you, huh? I I thought about it. Asking girls out. Had this idea of cruising down on motorcycles with a cute chick hanging on tight. Just something to fill the hole she left behind. His expression sour. He dug his fingers deep into his scalp. What does that even say about me? It says you're still grieving, and you're confused. Definitely a little hurt. That's okay, Yosuke. That's normal. Damn it! Yosuke snappily averted his eyes, voice wavering. How are you so good at this? That's my natural charm. Yosuke yelped again. Give me a break. Hey, you're smiling. It's a pity smile. Sure it is. Hewitt left it at that. For a minute, they just gazed at the stars. Kiss them already, you dork! Fixie! I am shocked at you. Trixie doesn't know what came over her. Normally, when it comes to something like this, you're the one exclaiming. But it's just that you and Yosuke were just so. Is that my own taser? Yes, Trixie. Oh, so this is what it feels like. But something still staggering at him about what happened earlier. The words formed at the tip of his tongue. But was it a good idea to voice them? He already teased Yosuke a lot. Further prodding might make him uncomfortable. But the girls knew. Akechi knew, so yeah, what the heck. Hey, what if I told you I'm bi? Would you think I'm not normal? Yosuke jolted up so fast the back of his head almost blocked the vending machine. Nani? This is some kind of joke, man? Nope. Just me being my usual casual self. Guys, girls, it doesn't matter that much to me. He paused, not trying to make stuff weird, though. I just really was just teasing earlier. Oh, damn. You really just gonna drop a bombshell like that? Yasuke's voice was shaky. He wore a crooked, almost wobbling smile that looked taped into place. Okay, you're gonna have to be real with you, dude. I didn't exactly think you were normal before that. You're just way too, I don't know, unpredictable. One moment you're stone cold, and the next you're fluttering your eyelashes like it's no big deal, and making things 10 times more awkward than they ought to be. Okay, so far so decent. Thanks. I try. See what I mean? Yasuke's voice took on a shrill, almost whining tone again. I don't know, man. Anyone else, and I find it creepy? Time to break out the big guns. You tell me, said a hand on his hip, giving his poker face. And why's that? I don't know, just you go from liking girls to liking guys. How could guys even want kids to do all that stuff together? You really didn't mean to, but you laughed. What? Come on! Our bodies are built for Yosuke, relax. The fact that you even thought about that was kind of telling. You didn't want to be too pushy about it, of course. Look, I can't speak for everyone, but for me, it's just, hey, that girl's cute. That guy's kind of cute too. Neat. And you're talking about the physical side of things. Dude, I'm not even in a relationship right now, but even I know it's been going on since before the Meiji era. It's true. If you actually do your research on yaoi and homosexual relationships in Japan, it's really fascinating stuff. I recommend Kyoto Video for more research because, good golly, there's a lot to pack in. Dumbstruck, slack-jawed look on Yosuke's face almost got another laugh out of you, but he restrained himself. Ugh, I don't know how you could be so chill about this. As I'm not really trying to prove anything. I know what I like. It's not like it's a big part of who I am. It's just a part. Right. I know there's more to you than who you like. Yosuke slumped against the vending machine again, shaking his head. It's probably just a me thing. Don't worry about it. That might as well have been an admission of some kind. Like you could tell just by Yosuke's body language that this wasn't a topic to push. It took a while for you to figure himself out, and he couldn't be the one to solve all of Yosuke's problems. Instead, he opted for a more palatable subject change. By the way, I think Akechi might have found a way into the TV himself. It seemed Yosuke welcomed the change of focus as he straightened back up, eyes wide as dinner plates. I mean, it explained a few things, but how? If he has the power, why hasn't he told us? Couldn't tell you. He didn't have it before, but when you step back and think about it, it explains a lot. Like the other day, I took Marie to Junes, and it was right by the TVs. He had a face mask on, even though he was fine earlier that morning, because of the fog. And Teddy had that pocky too. Yeah, and the other night he was hiding something in his drawer. Like what, glasses? Could be. I don't want to assume too much, but we may consider the possibility. Yosuke shut his eyes, drumming his fingers on his biceps. So what do we do? Confront him about it? We need to be careful. We only started to build some trust with him. I think for now, we should just keep encouraging him to open up. If he feels comfortable around us, he might even tell us himself. As long as he doesn't do anything reckless. You couldn't dispute that. I guess he already shown a precedent for recklessness, smart as he was. That's why we need to be there for him. The sooner he realizes he has a place on our team, the sooner he realizes he doesn't have to face things alone. As the evening wound down, Akechi reclined on the living room couch, chatting with Kanji over the phone. It was nice to touch base with him after such an eventful day, keeping Akechi grounded in ways no other person could. It wasn't a terrible time, all things considered. I got to see Hanamura-san make a fool of himself, which is always entertaining. But more importantly, Nanako-chan enjoyed herself. That's all I really could ask for.
That's good to hear. Sucks that you had to change plans, but good on you for taking care of your little sis like that.
Yes, I had to admit, it was rather sudden, but she's happy. I suppose I already acted the part of a brother anyway. Across the table, Nanako said, "Can I tell?" Of course, Nanako-san. As he paused, she says hi, by the way.
Well, right back at her.
Akechi chuckled. He says right back at you. But back to Kanji. Trust your day went well?
Yeah, Mom and I went down to Okinawa City to fetch some craft supplies. She stopped by a cafe. It was kind of packed out there. Well, I think it was good for her to step out of the shop for a day.
Oh, that reminds me. What about Marisa's comb?
Right, the comb. Well, Mom says it's so old, and we probably have better look at a museum. But there's something else too. About combs symbolizing separation and shit. Plus all this stuff about pain and death.
Ah, because of Kushi. The thought hadn't crossed my mind. It was such a pessimistic reading. Death, pain, separation. What did you tell Marisa?
Yeah, got a little too busy. Plus, I figured it'd be better if we both handle it. You know her a hell of a lot better than me.
Soon then, perhaps. Thursday, if you're available.
Yeah, that I work.
Kanji went quiet for a few seconds, and then,
Oh, before I go, how are you feeling about your shadow?
ah, one moment, Kanji-san. Akechi slid down the couch. Naruko-chan, I'll be right back. There's just something private I need to discuss with him. So weird to be called bro. Something about it just seems so strange coming from Nanako in a way that Big Bro did not. Yet, regardless, it was still affirmation and acceptance of Akechi as a brother. As long as it was her, he accepted. At any rate, he made it safely to the bedroom. He sat down on the low seat and continued the conversation. My apologies. I just felt this was a topic best discussed without prying ears.
Hey, I get it.
Anyway, to answer your question, I'm not sure. Opening up to Nanako-chan was cathartic, I suppose. When I saw her there shopping, it reminded me so much of when I was little. Ketsu rested his head back against the cushions, staring at the ceiling. I didn't have an older sibling to comfort me when my mother couldn't be there. I suffered in silence. I just didn't want Nanako-chan to endure the same loneliness. To be honest, I was the most utterly affectionate I've been with anyone in years.
Guess it still ain't that easy with other people, though.
No, it's pathetic, really. Chie-san made a comment earlier that I'm part of the team. I should be happy, right? Yet even hearing those words and knowing she tries to support me, even when Narukami wouldn't, it's still hard to believe.
To be fair, you spent a whole lot of years trying to protect yourself. You've had what, less than 2 months to adjust to all this?
Just enough to accept that this could be long term, but not enough to eradicate my doubts.
Yeah, well, if it makes you feel any better, I still keep worrying about how you and Yosuke Senpai would react to knowing about my hobbies.
Hmm, that was interesting. Afraid he'll see you less masculine as a result.
To be honest, it ain't just them. Getting teased for being into grass and fashion and junk just makes it tough really being the me I want to
Aha! That was it, wasn't it? I can't see sat up straight, snapping his fingers. Kazi-san, I want you to hold on to that thought.
be. Huh? What are you? Oh, my shadow, right?
It's no guarantee, but if you could recognize the feelings inside of yourself that made you uneasy, it could help you face yours. As long as you don't tell it's not you, you should at least be able to prevent it from going berserk, as Teddy would put it.
Kazi snoring. Glad you're still on top of it, but I'll try to keep that in mind.
Good. Thank you for listening.
Of course, you too, man. Having somebody to talk to you about this shit really does help.
Yes, well, good night, Kazi-san.
You know, you can drop the sun, right? We're buds.
All things considered, it was rather surprising that it took Kazi this long to bring it up. Thankfully, since this was a phone call, Kazi couldn't see the cheapest way Ketchy glazed on his feet. Force of habit, but understood Kanji. Felt so strange to just drop the artifact. It was so brazenly casual, but Kazi had always been a fairly unusual casual guy.
See? That wasn't so bad. Anyway, you sleep tight. Catch you on Thursday.
When the next morning rolled around, Ketchy was surprised to find himself and Nanako invited on an outing with Yu's friends. Well, perhaps not entirely surprised. He and Yu had already give Nanako an amazing Golden Week. The prospect of another trip to Junes won her immediate approval. That was how Ketchy found himself back in the electronics department with a much larger crowd than usual. Other than Yu and Yosuke, the two other boys joined them in. Huh. One was short, frizzy brown hair, and a slightly shorter boy with bluish black hair. Hadn't Ketchy seen him in the shopping district before? Despite the nagging familiarity, Ketchy stood rather tensely, hovered close to Nanako. The others he could handle. These two were starting on variables. So, you're friends with Narukami-san, I presume? Yeah, I met them in a basketball club, you said. The taller of the two boys snickered. Hey, yeah, but only Ko's shooting hoops. I'm part of the soccer club. Nanako looked up at you with twinkle in her eyes. This is really fun. Joe grinned at you. You got a cute sis, you know that? But Nanako meowed immediately. I'm not cute. You're a dignified little princess. Akechi said, narrowing his eyes at the two athletes. What did I say? I'll not have you upsetting my little sister during Girlden Week. The elder boy slugged Ko's shoulder. Careful, Ko. I don't think he's messing around. You blew a small sigh, stepping between Akechi and the duo. Akechi-kun. Met Ko and Daisuke. Ko, Daisuke, me and Akechi-kun. He's, that foster kid you mentioned, right? Said Ko. He then gave Akechi an almost pitying smile. I know the feeling. Spent my early years in an orphanage till my parents took me in. No way, Yosuke said. I never would have guessed, man. Cole shrugged it off. Most people don't ask. I was actually supposed to be the heir to the family till my little sister was born. So you escaped to hell as our country's orphanage is. Interesting. I guess he hardly expected to find another orphan now here in the open. I don't know if I could call it hell. They took care of me best they could, but now I'm part of a wealthy family. Guess you could expect me to play the part. Yeah, his looks are all right, said Daisuke. I feel big expectations, but it all boils down to being proper. Kel slouched, grumbling slightly. Can't even play basketball with a getting lip. At least you have some stability. Cassie said, though his tone was uneven and hesitant. The situation sounded complicated. Outside you get Cassie's usual comfort zone. It's preferable to being tossed from foster home to foster home with little regard. And your family expressed greatness for you. Means they give enough a damn to pay attention. Prolonged silence made one thing clear. Ketchy said too much. He sighed. I suppose it's not my place to judge. Josima-san allows me to do as much as I please for the most part. Despite his awkward comment, Cole's lips perked back into a smile before long. Hey, maybe this home will be the one. Your little sis seems like having you around. Where's the fifth? Nanako said, which made Ketchy's chest swell with pride, and then, but, think that's the best. Should be the best of both like That's what they call tie, said Daisuke. My family's not a competition either. If you know sibling rivalries, Cole added. My little sister's a little too worried about that, at least. Lucky you. He was right, smirk spoke volumes even before he said, pretty sure Akechi-kun still sees me as his rival. Someone has to keep you on your toes, Akechi said. Besides, I was there first, so I'm not going to let you dethrone me as the ultimate sibling. Nanako scared up to the two athletes and said, stop screaming so silly. She stabbed her toe, chin, squinting. Ooh, your voice is every attitude. Yosuke sputtered, while Ko and Daisuke just laughed. Sure do. Daisuke lifted his chin up, just out. Good thing, too. It'd be a lot harder to be a muscle master without it. Oh, lift it up, said Ko. You might have the toe genes, but I've got you beat on the basketball court. Well, yeah, I'm a soccer player. Still, kind still kind of crazy. You want to go to Junis 2 days in a row, Yosuke said to Nanako. Is there really nowhere else you want to be? Ha! The things Yosuke didn't know. To eliminate the situation, Akechi said, Nanako's love of Tunas transcends moral comprehension. I imagine she can never get bored of this place. Who could? Ko said, gesturing widely at the surroundings, mostly the TVs. This place has everything you could ever want. It's stuff you don't even realize you want yet. Hey, that'd be a good tagline. Yosuke winked. Maybe they should make you the marketing guy. Yeah, I'm busy enough with the team and my studies. Too many commercials going on. Nanako said, everything is great in your genius. That's even greater with Nanako, you said. was the best of my two brothers! Damn it. I guess he couldn't even be mad about sharing the spotlight here with Nanako so giddy and excited. Everyone, I guess he included, share a good laugh. It was nice. Even if used two athletic threads are still too new for Akechi to get a read on. Speaking of athletes, though, you turn to the duo. Hey, mind taking Nanako up to the food court for a second? The three of us have got to talk about something. That was ominous. Akechi's whole body stiffened, though he thought to maintain a calm expression. Nanako asked, and you crouched in front of her, ruffling your head. It won't take long. Just a little guy talk. This seemed to appease Nanako, and Ko and Daisuke led her away from the wall TV screens. As they left, Nanako asked them all manner of questions about sports and muscle mass, but Akechi couldn't find himself to laugh like he might under other circumstances. Now it was just him, you, Yosuke, alone by the TVs. So Akechi folded his arms, a scowl creeping across his face. So it's come to this. I don't know. Depends on what this is, you said, playing ignorant. Or was he? Perhaps he was trying to coax out affection. Relax, said Yosuke. It's not a big deal. We were just wondering if you wanted to meet Tenny. But I don't have my. Kenzie's jaw is slammed shut. But he already said too much. Was it a trick then? Damn it! It wouldn't be wise to enter the TV world unprepared. Especially when we're supposed to be looking after Nanako-chan. Why would you make such a ludicrous suggestion? Oh boy! Yosuke pinched the bridge of his nose. Looks like there's no way out of this, partner. What do you want to do? You frowned. Honestly, I'd rather we just drop it and go and meet Nanako. Then why bother pulling me aside? I guess he snarled. What is it you really want from me? Nothing. Don't lie, Narukami. You haven't even an ounce of respect for me. You get to the point. Hugh massaged his brow, shoulders rising and falling. All right. Then do you have the power now? If you do, it's fine. I already said I wouldn't get mad. Hugh knew. Clearly, Yosuke shared the same suspicion. This was complicated. Or perhaps the case was overcomplicating. They knew. He knew there was a chance he'd find out. Why was this so hard? What did he really have to fear? Suddenly, Yosuke backed away from Akechi, giving him space and shifting to a more relaxed stance. His arms hung to his sides, loose and slack. This isn't an interrogation, okay? But if we're going to be working together, we gotta know what's going on. Screw it. Akechi tapped the TV screen and rippled. Happy now? Holy shit! Wide eyes, hanging jaw, the way Yosuke arched forward to sight more than his demonstrated super. You really got it. I did. And yet, Akechi didn't smirk, like he thought he would when he first got the handshake, first off one-upping Narukami. What he thought would bring him smug satisfaction instead carved a hollow hole in his chest. His face remained calm, utterly unreadable. How long? Well, no point in denying it. I attained to power on April 29th. My first visit to the TV world was the next day. Before you ask, I haven't ventured far. Mostly, I've offered snacks to Teddy-san in exchange for information and 2 pairs of glasses. But how? Yosuke's question was a fair one. Even you doesn't understand how he got his powers. I'm observant. Akechi's eyes locked eye with you, feeling little as Air's fire sparked back to life. Narukami-san, do you recall the day you arrived? Yeah. I got off the train, met with you guys, bumped into Marie for a sec, got the new girlfriend's nickname for my trouble. He chuckled softly, perhaps an attempt at humor. Stopped at the gas station, then went home. Not much to write home about. Oh, for the love of... Think, Narukami-san. Did anything odd happen? Because I noticed it's very strange at the gas station. The gas station? You spoke slowly, as if trying to parse Akechi's words and reflect on it. All I did was shake hands and... I shook hands with the gas station attendant, and now I could do this. He sucked his whole arm into the TV, but only momentarily. I wanted to attain the power on my own terms. I wanted to prove that I could. Because I made you feel like you couldn't handle it. His face turned downcast. His shoulders shrugged. All that from a gas station attendant? His forehead crinkled. He reached for his temple. But why? How? That doesn't add up. I suspect he isn't human at all. After all, several townspeople have never seen him. He only appears on rainy days. He speaks with the current murder case with an air of ambivalence. He seems he resists to test those whose convictions are stronger, the perpetrator or those who seek to stop him. That bastard! Yo growled through his teeth. To be honest, I guess he couldn't blame him. This game had robbed of him of someone dear to his heart. But however Akechi understood, however much he grieved, one fact remained. Nothing we could do now but be vigilant. Culprit has the power, which means there's a chance that he also wield a persona. Or more than one, you said, his voice hushed. His eyes shone with quiet contemplation. Yosuke must have noticed this, as he looked between Akechi and you. Wait, if you got the power the same way you did, does that mean you already got your persona? Akechi hated the way he flinched, the way his arms drew closer to his chest so defensively, and the way he felt so small. He yearned to lie and say he had it, that he was ready, that was fine. But rationally speaking, that was stupid. Make the others treat him as if he already had it under control. Obviously, he did not. When Akechi glanced at the screen for a fleeting moment, there was a flash of gold in his reflection's eyes. His perfect, princely shadow waited on the other side. He could go in now, face it, accept it, and this would all be over. Or would it? Would he really accept a shadow like this? When his own inability to calm his inner discord only proved to use earlier concerns had merit? All he could manage in the end was a rough, I'm working on it. This only drew you closer. What do you mean, you're working on it? Akechi, don't tell me you're exploring dungeons by yourself. Akechi stepped back. I already told you I haven't yet. I'm not stupid, Narukami-san. The farthest I've gone is the shopping district with Teddy-san. I returned safe and sound. No shadows attacked? Yusuke's skepticism leaked into his words. Akechi could have lied there too, saying it was fine, but would that help him? Would it make facing a shadow any easier if he lied to their faces? Ultimately, Akechi only managed to dry. If you want answers, go ahead. Seek out my shadow. I'm sure he'd be ecstatic to tell you of our encounter. Predictably, his words earned dumbfounded stares from both you and Yosuke. Yosuke especially reacted strongly, with one hand partially extended, palm down, shaking. You saw your shadow, and you escaped? You grimaced. Akechi-kun. Akechi scoffed, trying his best to regain some semblance of composure. He squared his shoulders, put a hand on his hip, and tilted his chin up. He let me leave. Seems he's willing to wait for me to mentally prepare myself. But there's no guarantee it'll happen. Ah, there it is. Return you skepticism, a slight narrowing of his eyes. No more going to TV alone, all right? You have the power, then we gotta make sure you have the backup you need in case it all goes south. I can't believe you. So you are mad. I see how it is. Akechi started walking past him. You grabbed his shoulder. I'm just frustrated. If you didn't know your shadow would be hostile or not, and you still took a huge risk, I'm aware. Akechi pried his hand off his shoulder. I don't need you to lecture me, Narukami-san. Do you think this is easy for me? To stay face to face with my inner self, know what needs to be done, and still turn up empty-handed? Dude, we get it, Yosuke said. I see your shadow's tough, but that's exactly why you shouldn't be in there alone. If your shadow's really waiting on you, then you should take advantage of that and make sure we're all on the same page. The TV's right there, Hanamura-san. I, on the other hand, have kept my sister waiting long enough. So if you excuse me. This was stupid. Akechi knew it deep down. He knew he needed to open up, accept their help, and accepted that he wanted their help. But here, now, he needed space. He needed to get away from this, away from the reminder of his own ineptitude, his own infuriating cowardice. Yosuke started to follow, but you cut him off. Don't. It's obvious he needs some space right now. At least Narukami understood that much. Akechi thought as he stormed toward the elevator. Maybe it'd be easier to speak to a shadow. His perfect, humble, warm-hearted shadow, who could speak the words Akechi was still too proud to say. He figured it out. He just needed more time.